Hello and welcome to your first look at Football Manager 2022. I think this is the fourth year we've given you a first look at the game, and I think this year it's safe to say it's the most exciting one yet. There's a real buzz here, and we can't wait to get into the game and show you what's in store for you when you get your hands on it in the very near future. One thing to mention, I think we've covered it off already on social media. You're not going to find out when the beta is coming. We're not going to be doing that today. It's ready when it's ready. But we will give you, of course, a full look at the game as it is now, get across many different areas of the new features, including the data hub and the match, of course. So that's still to come. But I'm Tom, if you don't know me already, and I'm joined as ever by, I think it's fair to say, co-manager, assistant manager, my colleague here at SI, Dom Baker. How you doing, Dom?
I'm all good, Tom. Thanks very much. You won't notice on stream because it's set up very nicely, but we're all socially distanced in the same room, so I can see Tom right there, but I can't touch him.
If I put my hand out,
I can't take his mouse off of him if he does something stupid. But
like
very excited for this. Very excited. Been nervously waiting all day, so let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Of course, we couldn't do this without the help from the gaffer here at the studio. He helped us out last year when things went a little bit wrong, so we're hoping that he can do the same again and work his magic. It is, of course, Miles Jacobson. Miles, how are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. Also socially distanced. I am, can't see it on my t-shirt, but I did get social distancing world champion last year, which I was very proud of. And hopefully you've learned something about tactics.
I've been
last year and this year, Tom.
I've been on like an intensive learning course on this. I'm trying something. We're going to use the new wide centre back role. There's a little bit of a spoiler in there, but I think hopefully it'll pay off.
Can I just point out a negative before we even start? This is just to stop any confusion out there, right? On the bottom left-hand side of the screen, I'm sure someone's probably noticed this already, when the screen goes up, it says this is a beta version. It's not, it's an alpha version. We just don't have text that says this is an alpha version. So all the versions that go out say that they're a beta version. The beta, as Dom said, it'll be ready when it's ready. There's no point trying to bribe me to get out any earlier because that doesn't work. It's been tried before. Once we're happy with it, we'll roll out, and as we always say, it will be a couple of weeks before release. And yeah, that's not now. So the people who were asking me earlier, you're doing a stream, does that mean the beta's coming? It does mean the beta's coming at some point in the future, just not right now.
Not yet.
But let's not worry about that. So let's show people the game.
Let's get into it. We're gonna jump straight into Matchday. We had simulated a save with Sheffield United, of course, pioneers of a wide centre back role. We're currently sixth in the table, so we're doing okay. I think we're a couple of points off the automatic places. So the idea is that we will be in the automatic places by the end of this stream. And you know, anyone who tuned in last year will know that doesn't always go to plan. So we're hoping that we'll turn things around and be on the up again this year. So here we are, match day, straight into it. We're playing Stoke City. You can see here, obviously, the lineup. We'll get into the tactics a little bit later on. But let's go and talk to the players and make sure that they're all fired up and ready to go. And we can't wait to show off some of the new improvements this year in the match engine. We've obviously got the new animation engine. There's plenty of AI enhancements as well, which you'll see over the course of the stream. Keep your eye out for little new touches on the ball, players taking their time a bit more when they have the ball and looking for different options. Obviously the overlapping or underlapping centre backs as well. So yeah, plenty to keep an eye out for.
And I think on screen at the moment people can probably see some options that haven't been in the team talks before.
Yeah.
So I announced this earlier in the week. I've had the joy of delivering a few more hardcore features like quality of life stuff and some of the things that we've been working on that didn't make it into the videos. And one of those things is around 4,000 new strings, which is what these lines are called. Involved in the interaction side, particularly in team talks and in team meetings as well. And then there's some other ones in press conferences and other bits and bobs.
Right, what we're thinking. I'm thinking here we should lay down a marker. I think we should say we're favourites and we should be winning this comfortably.
Are we against Stoke?
We're having a bad season.
Actually, sorry,
in the game.
I'm not the manager. I'm the supporters. So I'm just going to abuse you.
Okay, let's get straight into it. Here we go. Teams are coming out the tunnel. For anyone who doesn't know, we're in the red and white stripes. Stoke are in their away kit. So let's get into it. Let's sure the settings are right first.
Speed that up.
Happy with that.
Yeah.
We're going to go 1 up on that. And here we go. The Davidson Baker era at Bramwell Lane is underway.
The Davidson era, if it all goes wrong.
Yeah, that's right. So get the blame off your back straight away.
Straight away, that's my marker down.
We've got an early opening though.
Well, last year I had to help sort out the tactics, but believe it or not, I know that so many people are going to be doing it this year. I'm not playing with 3 at the back.
Oh,
at the
really?
moment in my test games, all 5 at the back. I'm playing a nice 4-3-3 formation in my game at the moment.
That's one thing here that we talked about in the blog as well. Overhit passes, so passing accuracy and inaccuracy has been changed this year. There's a lot more in the way of overhit and underhit passes. So I just think it better replicates that sort of flow over the 90 minutes. It's sort of, you go to a game and the amount of time, certainly if you're watching lower down the level, you sort of see that frustrating period where there's, both teams struggling to sort of get things going in the middle of the park. So that's a lot more present in the game this year, which I love to see because I'm a bit of a sadist when it comes to quality of football.
You've also just seen some of the new animations for the first time, the new animation engine. I hope everyone can see how much smoother it is, how the ball contact is a lot better with the players. And there was some good defensive work.
Very good.
Yeah.
He got through there pretty well.
What's the reaction been so far, Don, to the match engine, what people are seeing?
Very nice indeed. A couple of chef's kisses I'm seeing. And also a shout from our mate Tony Jacobson, just saying get it in the mixer, which is good. A nice bit of early advice there. But no, some positive stuff so far. Animation looking smooth. Hopefully we can show it off with some goals.
Ooh,
this is
us conceding there.
This is a brand new version of the match engine as well, which was only checked in yesterday. So I had a lot of fun playing with it last night, and I'm very happy with this particular match engine.
Good to hear.
Every time I get a new match engine, as well as playing the game, I also do what we call the match engine test, where I let it run with a specific tactic for 20 matches and then watch all of the goals through, and it's utilising the same 20 matches each time. And I got really excited last night because I make a note of how each goal is scored, and the amount of variation was actually huge.
Yeah.
I wanted to do a little snipping tool thing and take a screenshot, but I'd already done my 5 a day yesterday. I know I would have been told off by,
you would have indeed.
by Dom and the social team if I'd done more. So, but yeah, so much variation, including a dinked goal, although it was against me, so didn't like that much.
Oh,
Yes!
Rhian
Against the
Brewster.
run of play. Oh.
A cartwheel to boot as well.
Oh, the feeling of relief is lovely, isn't it?
That is a massive weight off my shoulders there. It's a lovely ball in as well.
Great looping header.
Love it. Keeper no
In off the
chance.
post.
And one of the interesting things for me there, right, which a lot of people won't notice because you just scored a goal, the defender actually challenged for that ball really, really well and didn't get to it, but at least was going for it, which is something we have been looking at quite a lot this year, because sometimes a defender in the game, if they knew they weren't going to get to the ball, they kind of didn't jump.
Yeah.
Whereas in real life they would jump, and they were jumping there. So that's good to see.
I think just generally across the board from the time I've been playing with it this year, it's just like variety is the key word. I think you just see a lot more variety in terms of touches on the ball, like the types of goals that scored, as Mars said, but also in terms of like defensive work as well. We'll come on to the pressing changes in a little bit, but plenty for you to sort of feast on when you get your hands on the game. So half time, we're 1-0 up.
Against a run of play, as we mentioned, we're not dominating the ball, but
Our XG's not great.
It hasn't been that bad possession-wise, though.
No, not too bad. Let's get into a team talk.
Let's do it. Let's try and fire them up for the second half. So what are we thinking? Pump fist, perhaps?
Find another gear.
Find another gear. Again, one of the new
Not seen
options
that
again.
before.
Let's go and see if that works. I don't think we want to make any changes yet, but just shout if you do want to make a sub at any point, because
Let's not.
I don't know. I mean, after last year, probably unwisely, but I've been given control again, isn't it? But
Yes.
yes, we're given a second chance, should we say, to prove
I'm sure you've
myself.
changed your ways, Tom. You've learned a lot in that.
It's been a long year of of studying many different tactical books. I've been trying to work on sort of like the coaching side of the game as well.
A long year of playing FM when you should be working, you mean?
Yeah. In some of our foot talks as well, I've been taking notes from them.
It's a great knock.
Ooh.
Oh, unlucky.
Well, you got to host one of the Foot Talks this year.
I did. It was a real treat. A very nervy time talking to a real life manager, but yeah, very, very enjoyable at the same time.
You did a very good job. Thank you for stepping in for me.
My pleasure. Right, we're an hour in. I'm thinking, should we just take a look at things tactically?
Take a look, and we can show the stream the tactics that we ran with as well. Obviously, wanting to get straight into the game, but here's a chance to just have a peek at what we're running with. Obviously, we're going free at the back. We've got to. But let's tweak it where we can.
Tom, can you do us a favour? You know the button that says analysis? Can you just click on it?
Nice.
Look at it. It is so cool. Like even when we showed the screenshot the other day of before you go into a game, it's so much more information there now to sort of. It
is something we should show that off if we can when we're outside of a game, because that was one of the things I rolled out on Twitter this week. It's really helpful.
Right. So. Do we want to change anything positionally? I don't think so. I think the one thing that worries me is I saw that they had something like 5 shots out of their 8 on target. So maybe, do you want to switch things up at the back?
If I was you, I'd be looking at John Egan a little bit, because he's looking like he's getting a little bit tired.
He's getting a bit tired. So let's see. Should we bring on Robinson, see if he can... I mean, he's comfortable there.
As we're also looking at centre-backs, can we just have a peek at the wide centre-back instructions on offer?
Maybe you put him on attack.
We had to do
that.
One of them had to be on attack.
I know that everyone out there is going to be doing it. It's just one of those things. That was an interesting discussion.
There you go. Yeah, I think what we want to do is try and caution you to putting two wide centre backs in attack, because you better have a decent holding player who can drop back and support if you get caught out in possession. But you know, if you want to throw caution to win, that's your choice. So yeah, it's a great new role as well. You'll see it when you're watching things yourself, and you might want to go on, you know, even more level of detail in terms of highlights. Just seeing them overlap and seeing them underlap and covering the wide spaces. It's just great to see, isn't it?
It's lovely.
It's one of our most requested features, I think, over the last couple of years.
Great to finally
so great to get in there. Yeah. Okay. Enough of that. Let's confirm the sub and see if we can close this game out.
Hang on.
Oh!
Could you also, Tom, just flick on to positive, or maybe not attacking, but we're at home.
Yeah.
I know we're defending the lead, but maybe we can impose ourselves a little more.
Happy to do it.
Lots of requests to stick a libero in the middle of our 2 wide centre backs.
You can do it if you really want to. You can.
Braver managers than us will do that. Maybe not just yet, Tom. What do you think?
Give it 5 games. Okay. I might get carried away if we're doing well. I might be trying all sorts. What's a good save? So 10 minutes to see out. I think no one looks particularly, you know, in poor condition. So I'm tempted just to let it play out.
I think we should take Freeman off on the left side if you've got a replacement, maybe.
Okay, we'll see the end of this.
6.3, and you imagine we're going to get some counting opportunities.
Oh, what a save!
What a save! Oh my god!
I get worried every time Romain Sawyers gets the ball.
Big FM fan,
Big FM
Sawyers,
fan,
of course.
And a thoroughly lovely bloke.
Definitely. Took part in our EFL stream over lockdown.
Let's try and...
Ooh. Can Gibbs White do it? Let's jump into tactics and find out.
Let's see.
You could put Brewster onto the left and then give Billy Sharp a run out.
There's a lot of calls for McGoldrick in the chat.
Oh, really?
Game, yeah.
Okay.
We'll go with the chat. We are people pleasers, if nothing else. So we're up to 4th. I'll take that. For, you know, we've gone up 2 places as it stands.
Not too bad.
I say that and then we're going to concede a last minute goal, aren't we? That's what's going to happen.
Park the bus chats now.
We don't park the bus.
Oh, Tom.
We don't park the bus. Oh, what a block!
I wish we did park the bus.
What a block that is.
We did park the bus.
Okay, West Brom by the way are top on this, and they are now drawing
Oh, hang on.
Is that it?
Referee.
Yeah.
Look at
Please.
the watch. Look at the
No.
watch.
Oh.
Oh, he just kept us waiting that little bit longer.
So I know both of you are people pleasers, but I'm just saying, if we brought on Billy Sharp, we would have won 2-0. It wouldn't have just been 1-0.
We'll do that next game.
XG says we stole one there a little bit, but hey, I'll take it. I'll take the 3 points. This is one of my favourite things. I don't know if you can quite see it behind the team
Nice
talk
little
here.
feature.
This is one of the nice little Easter eggs that we want to show off today. The dressing room post-match is in a completely different state to when you get there pre-match. The players have sort of trashed the place really. Towels on the floor. There's a banana skin in one of the players' areas there. It's
It was modelled on my old office. in the old office. The one in the new office is very, very tidy.
Very tiny.
But
yeah, modelled on my first year room at uni. But yeah, great to see. And Mars, there's also, it's not just in terms of the dressing room here, we've added in new manager environments for FM22 as well.
yeah, there's lots of variation in manager environments now. We've got a bigger art team than we've had at any point, and with Johnny Venables joining as well as our visualisation director, it's getting an extra pair of eyes on those kinds of nice touches, really.
Yeah,
Which is good.
Beautiful.
some of the rooms look great.
Nice
So, Don, what
work,
were you going to
everyone.
say?
Nice work, everyone. That was good.
Yeah? What do you want to do? Like, please, we got the result. We weren't at our best, I think it's fair to say.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Want to do that?
We went our best. If you want to be.
Look at that.
There we go.
It's a sea of
Everyone's
green.
happy.
There you go. Let's get into the data hub, Tom, if we can.
Yeah, this is what I've been doing. We'll skip it on. We'll do a press conference as well, because as Miles was saying, there's lots of new changes here in terms of new responses. There's more context as well. We'll come on to this as well in a little bit. Transfer value. That's something else we'll come on to in a little bit. That's another thing to keep an eye out for. But we'll go through. I'm very pleased with the win. I'm very pleased with the win after the pressures of Watford last season. Oscar Garcia.
Not interested.
I'm not selling him.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. And we have a great relationship, me and the chairman. Brilliant. So yeah, we'll come on to transfer value in a little bit. But one thing I like to do now, after every game I've been playing, I don't know what you've done, but I jump straight in to the data hub to see how my analysts are saying, we can improve things, where things are going well, where things are going a little bit wrong. And you can see here, we've obviously shown this off in both the in-the-studio videos and also in the blog on the Data Hub as well. So hopefully you're pretty familiar with the overall intention of the Data Hub, but we'll actually show you a few elements in person now as well. So obviously around here you've got your general performance graph, as well as breakdown of how your team is stacking up against the rest of the league in attacking and defending stats. You've got all sorts of reports and visuals over here which you can just pick out and delve into at your leisure. One of the things that I use most often, certainly game to game, is the key findings chart here. So you've got your analyst picking out a few things that you can really tell from recent matches. So if you click into here, you can see in the most recent match, you can see where momentum shifted when we got the goal, but then we sort of little bit lucky to hold on before half time, and then finally pulled it back round in the second half and closed things out. So that's just an example of how the key findings can be used to sort of pull things together. You've also got things like pass maps. You've got the XG, which we know wasn't the best, but it's just really good to dip into there and sort of unpick the story of the last match and your most recent matches. So
I'll just point out how professional that was.
That was very smooth.
We just had a bit of a technical issue here where me and Dom couldn't see the screen anymore, but Tom still could and just carried on.
Brilliant.
And if I hadn't said anything there, no one would have known apart from the weird faces that I was pulling.
Do you know what
it's back now.
That all comes from anyone who watched the Creators Cup live final, the first year we did that. There was a technical issue there where I had to film for about 5 minutes. So
could you still see the screen or not?
Only when you got reconnected, it went for me and I was a bit panicked. But
Okay,
But yeah, anyway.
This is my favourite bit of the
This is so good.
By the way, just one thing before we get into the good bit, because get bad bits out of the way.
Go on, take the floor.
The only bad bit about the data hub is that you don't have it from the very, very start of the game. So the data hub kicks in once you've played 3 matches. And this is actually something different for us this year, because normally anything new we just pile on right at the start. But if you try to go to the data hub too early, you'll see a nice message that's up there. But then when the data hub kicks in, when there's enough data to populate it after a few matches, that's the point that you get the tutorial that takes you through the whole thing and shows it to you. So Tom has cheated a little bit by starting on time, whereas I'm far too honest. But I love the Ask Data Analyst.
So good, it's so good. So you get suggestions here from the analysts, so you can delve into these in the same way. So here we're looking at how our goal scoring numbers stack up against the rest of the league. So
not too bad.
Amazingly, we're pretty good, aren't we?
Amazingly, have a bit of faith.
Apart from the last game.
Apart from the last game where we weren't, I don't know what happened there. And you can delve in and look at, scatter graphs as well. These are really, really cool to sort of see, individually where my players sort of stacking up against their rivals. But you can go in and you can search for anything. So if you want to search for one of our other new additions this year, a zone map, you can see, on average, this is where we're attempting our passes. So a lot of passes, as you'd expect, in the middle of the park, as we try and control possession a little bit. And good to see that we're sort of as we approach the penalty box, we're getting a little bit more cut through, which is great. So yeah, plenty for you to sort of get your teeth into, both in terms of team visualizations and player visualizations as well. So a really, really powerful tool. And I guess, Miles, this was really based around conversations with real analysts, real coaches, real managers about the way that managers who do take more of an interest in data analysis, how they go that extra mile to get that data.
Well, I think nowadays you've got 2 different types of managers. You've got data informed and you've got those that make decisions with data. You don't get many that don't use data at all. So we got to speak to some analysts, and I have done over a few years, and it helps that one of the programmers on this that we saw in the studio videos, he was a data analyst. He was a programmer on data analytics for a top club. Whose name I won't mention. But so we had a lot of input from there, and it's something I don't think people realise this all the time. But we work on features over many years. We've spoken before about the fact that we've got a database of, I thought it was 6,000. Johnny said it was 7,000. I think in the video features that we want to work on. But there are also features that we start working on and move on to this. So the data hub was very much planned around the XG stuff that we had to do last year, but we made the decision that we wanted to introduce people to some of these data points first in FM21, then FM22 sees the hub come along with some new things, and the way things normally work is for the next couple of years, or maybe with a gap for a year, you'll see more things being added to it again over time.
Yeah.
Because if we put everything at the same time, it can be really, really overwhelming.
Yeah.
And it's why I love the Ask Data Analyst side of things so much, because it actually lets people get as deep into it as they want to be learning about things for when we do more stuff with it in the future. It's such an important part of football now, which we get told in the foot talks all the time, how important this side of things is.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favourite things as well is to go in here and just sort of, again, ask for, let's say we want to see how we're stacking up in terms of our area attributes. Click that, you can add that to your team analytics, and they're behind here, once I've managed to click on that, you can just add stuff so easily, and then once you're in, you can go and edit stuff, shift things around. One thing, I mean, if you really wanted to go into a lot of detail with this, you can go in and sort of tailor things, so you've got essentially an evolving dashboard for every single match that you want to play. So you can see, if you're playing against a team who likes to get the ball long and try and get the ball over the top of your defenders, then adding something like the aerial stats is going to be really important for that fixture. And then you want to take that out when you're playing a team that plays more of a passing game, for example. So it's really, really powerful, and loads of ways that you can sort of customise it to suit your team's needs.
This was also one of the first features that we worked on, a boring production thing, but it was one of the first features that we worked on with our new feature pod system. And the way that we do the feature pods is we have a designer, we have the programmers that are working on it from the different areas. We have someone from the art team, whether that be user interface or 3D art, and we have QA and a feature pod owner. So doing this, it was scheduled in what are called sprints. So maybe in previous years we've had a bunch of features and said this is the deadline that everything has to be finished by. With sprints, you actually work in one weekly cycle and work out what you're going to be working on in that week. And it's just worked really well. It meant we actually ended up getting more out of the data hub than we thought we were going to, because everyone's just in that room together before it gets delivered to me for sign off and feedback.
Nice. Let's get into a game.
You want to go forwards? Yeah. So again, like Data Hub, really, really useful to sort of bridge the gap from one game to the next, and then also I think generally I've been using it where I'll sort of take maybe one game a month or one period a month where I'll reassess whether I'm looking at the right things or
Dude, you just got the other team's manager sacked. Sorry.
I mean.
Wow.
That's how disappointed they were with losing to Tommy D.
It's such a shock that they were like, right, this can't happen. So here, we're being recommended to play Billy Sharp.
Wow, that's a whole host of changes there.
I mean, I'll leave up to my assistant. What do you want to do?
I think we won't take the suggestion just yet.
Okay.
We'll get in
We'll
and
come
we'll
back
maybe
to
tweak
it.
one or two, but we've just
Okay.
come off of a
It's
win.
the Saturday, Tuesday
is.
thing of the...
I'll send the assistant to the press conference simply because we want to get into
As we get into this
the
next
game.
one, Tom, as you click through, question on the Data Hub, which is very interesting, is about the accuracy of data based on your analysts. So if you're a lower league club, of course, you're not going to have the riches and the luxury of a whole team. So how will that affect the data that you see?
So with some of the data, you get it straight away anyway because it's coming from a computer system. So it's not a human-based thing. You've got your analyst can basically pull all of this data out, and they're not sitting there doing all of this data themselves. It's being done in the background. It's why there's Sky Sports logos across a lot of it to try and give you the feeling that it is coming from somewhere. Where that stuff does come into play is when you're doing analysis of other players. So if you're using it for scouting, for example, the amount of reports that they can do is affected, and the time those reports take is affected by their data.
Perfect.
There you go.
Let's go.
First of all,
hold your horses.
I know this is a personal favourite of mine.
Well, everything's a personal favourite of mine, isn't it? And I get asked this on social, what's your favourite feature? And the answer is they're all my favourite feature because they wouldn't be in the game if they weren't.
The staff meeting is just a really... I used to... I think like a lot of people who play the game, you used to get the backroom advice inbox items, and you sort of like... Occasionally you'd spend a while going through them, but a lot of the time you could easily miss stuff that was just, really important. It could actually help you out of a bad run of form, help you get into the top 6 if you're chasing a playoff place, for instance. So this just brings it all together in one meeting every single week, and there's so many more ways that you can interact with that advice, aren't there, Miles?
There's lots of new stuff in there, but also for the people who don't want to be doing this side of stuff, they can still press the button to get it into their inbox. You can choose how often you have these meetings. So we've got them set to every week, but you can have them every 2 weeks, you can have them every 4 weeks. If you do decide to just get stuff via email though, there will be topics that you'll miss out, because there are some things that you would only really have if you were in a meeting with a few people. You wouldn't send an email about them. So we've separated those things up. But I just find these so useful. One of the features that I put out this week was about weak-footedness, and I've got to admit, I've started getting a bit... I just get too many people telling me my players have got weak feet. But beyond the weak feet stuff, there's some really useful information in here. It's really well laid out, and you can see the different people that are in the meetings with you as well, you get to basically feel like you've got a better relationship with your staff because you're sitting there in a meeting. And when we're creating a living, breathing world, which is what we do, where you can interact with every single NPC, non-playable character in the game, which I found the Watch Dogs game that came out last year was absolutely incredible. But their selling point was you can talk to these characters and play with them, and there's like 80 of them or something. And we're sitting there going, we've got 500,000 generate a couple of thousand a year. But also, if you stop trusting some of your staff, you can ask another staff.
That's one of my favourite features. So yeah, you can just jump in and go, okay, not too sure. Let's get a second opinion. Let's see what Stuart thinks.
Stuart agrees.
Stuart agrees. I don't agree. I'm gonna.
So you can move on, and you can be asked to be reminded as well.
Yeah.
So there are things that you might be looking at different times of year, and because of the way that you play, you might only look at transfers at certain points. Just ask them to remind you at a point where you are going to be interested in that subject. So yeah.
Again,
love it.
As you say, can be reminded in a week. Great to hear that it's having a positive effect there. Remind me in a week. And also the other thing is, if you want to, if development at this point of the year isn't that important to you, you can skip straight on to the next point on the agenda, and again interact with the issues that are being raised in the same way as you would with the other elements of the game.
And it's worth looking at stuff on the right hand side of the screen as well, with the suggested actions.
Gives you the sort of pros and cons as well.
Exactly. So again, you can interact with it in many different ways, and it's really useful. Even if you don't want to do it every week, I think we'd all recommend doing it, at least once a month, to sort of have that face-to-face interaction with your backroom team. So
to help declutter your inbox as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It absolutely does.
You can focus on the stuff that catches your eye.
The times when I've pressed the send to inbox instead, which I have done from time to time, I do regret it afterwards. Oh, Tom, we just missed the perfect opportunity.
I was going to say, shall we jump in and look at transfer? Now,
This, Tom, you know how the other one's one of my favourite features? And we can say this about all the features. This is one of my favourite features.
Yeah. Every time
the animation engine, one of my favourite features.
This is one of my favourite features as well. So can we talk a little bit about the reasoning behind this change?
The true reason, or can I do one of my flippant comments first?
You do whatever suits.
I'm sick of people asking me on Twitter why clubs are bidding too low for their players and why they have to bid so much for the other players. That's the flippant reason for it. But the real reason is the value that we've had in game for 28 years or 29 years. It's meaningless.
Yeah.
Because effectively we have multiple values inside the game, such as sale value, which is hidden, and the actual price you have to pay for a player, which was hidden. All those kinds of calculations going on. And then we just slapped a number on a screen based on a bunch of factors that just wasn't useful.
Yeah.
Whereas the new transfer value system, we've got a great scouting system in the game. We added the Ask Agents about availability last year, and hey, one of my favourite features is the expansion that we've done on Ask Agent about availability this year, which is so important and isn't visible enough in the game at the moment, which is something I want to work on between beta and release, is trying to make that more visible. But the way that the transfer value works now is it gives you a range of the kind of value that you should expect to be paying for the player. It's not asking the club directly how much they want, and it is opinion. So this will be an opinion from one of your scouts of what the player is worth. Scouting the player more, asking the agent about the player's availability more, will give you a better value. What these values don't necessarily take into account is the financial status of the club. So you can find with players that you see that they're worth 9.5 million or between 7.5 million and 12 million, and you go and put in a bid. Whereas if you'd go and ask the agent could turn around and say, the club don't need to sell this player, therefore you're going to have to pay over the odds and we'll give you a different value. But it's more helpful here that you basically know, and the clubs here have offered you 2.32 and 2.5. That 2.5 was close to the transfer value that your club sees for the player. But at those points where you're wondering why the player that you want to sell 50 million for, clubs only bid 30 million for, you've actually got a better indication that it's because they're not worth 50 million, and just because you want 50 million for them doesn't mean you're going to get them. One of the other things that's changed because of this is actually some of the values in the background, and we've looked at the prices of players, and it's going to be a bit cheaper now to be able to get younger players who haven't played games yet. When they start playing games, then that's when their value really starts ratcheting up. And that was looking at a lot of transfers that have happened over the years, and a lot of the clubs that do buy younger players. And you look at someone like Theo Walcott, who had been playing a lot of football and he went for a fortune, and then you look for other players who are being brought to go into the under-23s. They're going for less, but it gets ratcheted up. Now, I know that you're writing a transfers and contracts blog at the moment, so I don't want to go into too much of it, but we're on a stream. Also be aware that the little trick that we've all used in the past of when you're paying 15 million for a player to go and put in a bid for 5 million and then 10 million over 36 months, clubs have now got wise to that. So this player here looking at may well be worth 3.5 million, but if you wanted to buy him over 3 years, you ain't going to be paying 3.5 million for him. You might be paying 4.5, you might be paying 5. So it looks like a small thing when you see it just like that, but it's meant that so much stuff under the hood has been changed, which Tom, I know he's writing about at the moment because I've got to sign it off at some point over the weekend, but hopefully over the weekend. But there's so many things that have gone underneath the system to allow us to change what is a 28-year-old legacy of something that we got wrong 28 years ago and didn't have fix.
Very honest of you, Mark.
Can hold my hands up on it. It's such a better system, so much better.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
when people have noticed it in the screenshots, what's that? But it really is a huge change to the way that you'll play the game, as is the ask about
one of the new and improved manager rooms there.
What did Billy ask for then?
I was trying to get him to calm down Ender Stevens, who was unhappy that I rejected the bids, but I run Sheffield United with an iron fist.
Tommy, seeing as I've just been talking about it, can you please go and look at the players so that we can see the Ask Agent about availability stuff?
Yes, let's go and look at...
Because I am going to be dashing in and out during this, because...
let's go to my team, and let's go and look at someone who I think is quite highly rated. So, Ask Agent about availability. So now... Obviously, previously,
by your team, you mean Notts Forest?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fine, because I was sitting there going, what? There's an option there? That's not something we've worked on this year.
But then, so previously, this was just there wasn't really much of a back and forth between you and the agent. It was just sort of, you had the agent just dispensed information straight off the bat. Whereas now, this is a lot more conversational, and you can find out a little bit more information via remote chat. And
deciding which of these you choose and your relationship with the agent could affect what the agent and the player are asking for from you as well. So again, next time you turn around and go, I put in a bid for this much on this player and this much salary and someone else did this, there are a lot of other things going on in the background. When that stuff happens. So we've tried to bring some of those to the fore a little bit. And then you can see there he's sort of not only telling you what would be required, but also explaining why that would be required as well.
More context.
Exactly. He's not giving you too much info. Now, again, those two choices that you have there are really important. If you say, I'm happy with that, so you should now be going and putting in a bid, because if you don't now put in a bid for that player, that will affect the agent's relationship with you and future possibilities of signing that player. But if you go in there quickly, they're going to be happy about it, and that will help you. So again, all of that stuff ties into transfers.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Now, and I can't see what's being said on the stream at the moment, but I hope people are excited about it.
Definitely so.
Good.
Right, second
Let's go.
game. Second game. I don't want to change anything
Okay.
tactically.
Sorry, can you just pause for 1 second
Mm.
here? Because this again is something that's changed this version. It is just a UI redesign, which is why we haven't made a big deal about it. But one of the frustrations that I had with FM21 is opposition instructions were too far hidden away. And you can get to them, but only if you know about them. And even on this screen, they were hidden away. We're playing on quite a high resolution at the moment. If you're playing on minimum resolution, the opposition instructions were hidden right by the bottom.
Yeah.
Right at the bottom, you were being given what I thought were less important bits of information. They're now right at the top, opposition instructions. You see them every time. They're such an important part of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact,
Do
let's
it.
go ahead and go and do it.
There we go.
I'm happy to remove that. Right.
Cool. Let's get into it.
Sticking with the same team? Sticking with the same
I
team?
would not be playing. Sorry, I'm the journalist before the match. So, Mr. Davidson,
Yes.
are you still planning on playing Lys Mousset, even though he looks quite tired?
No. I spotted that as well. Honest truth. So, but we have to then,
Brewster
I
wide.
guess, put
Nice.
Brewster wide, and then
Yes.
is the chat still clamouring for McGoldrick?
Should we quickly ask them?
McGoldrick or Sharp? We'll let the chat decide again.
Obviously, you can go with Goldrick because I wanted to go Sharp.
McGoldrick does have a slightly better average rating.
Sharp. Sharp.
Sharp.
Takes it.
Wow.
Sharp
Thank you,
takes
people
it.
at Twitch.
180 from the chat. Okay, so
I must have given some good info.
Let's also stick it on attacking, Tom. We're at home, Millwall struggling. Be a bit more brave, eh?
this is what got us in trouble last time. I was thinking like, let's just be really cautious, make sure we've got it right, and you're like, no, let's just throw caution to a wind and go
It's all
straight
in your
out.
head if it goes wrong. That's
Of
fine.
course, it's easy for you to sit there and say that. Okay, we've got to get fired up for this one.
Favourites for a reason.
I want us to play like favourites as well.
Okay, let's do it.
If we're going to go attacking, we've got to double down on it, right?
Let's do it.
Did we have any staff reaction to the team news in the first game? Because we didn't in that game.
It's a good question.
And if
No,
we
we
didn't,
didn't
can
in
we
the
keep
first
an eye
one.
on that? Because
Yeah,
that might
let's
be
keep
something
an eye.
that we need to fix before we get to
Okay, so here we go again. We were at home last time, weren't we?
It's Chris Basham overlapping. Wasn't found then, but if you saw
Offside.
that, he fired one into Freeman, went to go, saw that it wasn't on, and sort of stopped in his tracks.
Okay.
One both positive and negative of playing with the championship is we don't have VAR, do we?
We don't. There's actually, it's funny you said that, Miles, there's a lot of questions about VAR and how it's changed in game, if you'd like to comment on that.
So there have been some tweaks to it. It's something I've actually been asked this quite a bit on Twitter recently, saying 100% of the time VAR only shows negative decisions, and there is a bit of a perception of that because so many people play on key highlights.
Mhm.
If you play an extended or full match, you do see some differences. But I've noticed, even playing in key highlights, I've noticed VAR giving decisions every which way. As Clint Eastwood once said, every which way but loose.
We only score from corners.
Get in there. Set piece FC.
So there have been changes to VAR, but if you're not a fan of VAR, you're still not going to like VAR and Football Manager
Mhm.
because it can still be really annoying.
Good stuff, Tom. Good stuff. A couple of mentions about shouts this year. Obviously, shouts are still there. I changed to shouts, Tom, if you want to shout in a minute, just
Yeah.
as an example, before we go and concede.
I'll wait and see what happens there before I
As you
shout.
know, you can't shout constantly. There's a sort of a limit in between shouts, a time limit. But now when you shout and then you go to shout again, it's more obvious that you need to sort of wait for a little while for the first.
Your voice is a bit
instructions to
hoarse,
Your
yeah.
voice is a bit hoarse. Yeah, that's correct. So just a little quality of life feature. As Basham, our wide centre
Oh
back.
my word, look at this.
Have you just stolen one of my Twitter features? Tom?
I may have done.
I'm not actually sure that's on my list.
I'm not sure. Well, if it was.
Speaking of shouts, let's get into a shout now. I'm going to praise them. I'm going to praise the entire team because we're playing much better than we did against Stoke. And set piece FC, I thought we were going to get a second then. Okay, here's a wing
I'm
back.
still buzzing off that run from Basher. That's what he's there to do.
Forget the scoreline. If you see an overlapping centre back, you're there.
Oh my god, this roll is looking amazing. Basham again? Brewster?
Oh, keeper's in great form, boy. He's
Keeper's
made
looking
2 or
good
3
as
great
well.
saves.
He's looking good in terms of just animation in general.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest improvements as well, I think, in terms of the animation engine is keepers, because you see them now dive much more naturally and realistically than previously. Yeah, it's great to see. Great to see.
Is your instruction, Tom, just to give it to Chris Basham?
I wasn't gonna, I wasn't gonna
it.
reveal it, but yeah,
Overlap?
you can see him.
Oh, we're in cruise control, Tom. I say we because it's going well.
Yeah, it'll be back to me in a minute when we concede. Now look at this. This is
Liquid. Freeman.
another corner, and if there's one thing about a Davidson Sheffield United side, don't give away a corner.
You got a reputation already.
Well, we have cleared the last 3. We've scored from 2. We've missed from about 6 or 7 now. So, yeah.
You've had 11 corners in the first half an hour.
12 now.
Which
That's the game plan.
It probably shows a few problems with your finishing.
Maybe. Well, we're playing wing play to try and encourage our wide centre backs as we get another set piece. And maybe it's that our crosses are just getting blocked too often.
Could be.
Because
We
we're
may have to
sort of-
look at switching things around in
Maybe.
terms of the roles of the wide men. Although, look at this. This is... We're toying with them.
Great pass there. Can we? Sharp? Chat?
Oh,
That's a really
again a
nice
great
stop.
save.
Far too happy about the opposition.
Yeah,
So what was the thing you wanted to point out about shouts? Because Tom did it the first time, but we should be trying it again, shouldn't we?
We should be,
Yeah.
yeah. Come on, Tom.
Yeah, can we see the end of this highlight? And then I'll
Flag.
judge what I'm going to say.
Oh, he's gone all the way through!
Keeper was unsighted
And the
there by his
players
defenders. They were appealing for an offside.
Lovely that. I
Wow.
mean, it potentially looked a bit clumsy depending on which way you looked at it, but it's the defenders getting in the way of the goalkeeper.
Exactly.
That meant that you couldn't see the ball, couldn't
It was
react
for
in
crowding
time.
him.
I
Crowding
was
him.
waiting for one of those to clear it. I mean, look at that. Almost like we planned that. Like, straight off the training
Straight
ground.
off the training ground. Brilliant. Right, okay, so hang on. What we'll do is we will...
Praise.
I mean, we've got to again, haven't we, really?
Yeah.
We'll praise them. And then if I go in,
There
you
you
can
go.
see,
Doesn't let you.
Not
doesn't
bad.
let me. And
Simple
Stoke,
change, but
Stoke are doing us a favour as well, having, we cost them their manager, but they're still helping
they
us
manage a
out.
bounce.
They manage to bounce.
May I copy your corner kick routine? I don't think we've really got one, just to get a lot of them.
I'll send it to him post match. What should we go for? Maybe an outstretched arms. Again, another new. You've seen the amount of variety in these team talks now, so I'm pleased we've created loads and a scoreboard reflects that.
Above that as well, mention of shots on target, so the strings you get to choose from will also reflect stats and
Yeah.
data that you've seen in game.
Yeah.
Sometimes they relate to XG, possession, passing accuracy, so in our case, shots on target, which is always nice to see.
Always nice to see. Okay, so got 2. They often say, don't they, 2-0's the worst score to go in with at half time. 2-0
If you're
lead.
managed by Tom Davis.
Anyone else, you're probably fine.
Probably fine. Was it 2-0 we fell apart from last year? I'm sure it happened last year.
Why would you even say that?
I mean,
No,
Still was.
last year you were 2-0 down
yeah, yes.
before
Before
somebody helped.
I can't remember who that was actually.
I can't either.
Another corner.
Okay.
Really fancy an ice cream now.
How are we looking in terms of the players? So, I mean, all pretty good ratings wise.
Right.
Another corner. Look at this. They've sussed it out now. They're clearing it every time. We've not had anything since the goal from corners.
And I guess I guess at this stage of the game, it may be worth looking ahead to future fixtures to try and rest players.
That's why you're here, you see.
Thinking about Sandra Burge in the middle.
That's why you're here. You are the one who comes up with the long-term plan.
Thanks, mate.
Okay, so should we get Gibbs White on or maybe Norwood?
Norwood's a safe
Because
pick,
he's
isn't he?
playing defensive duty.
Other than that, we're good to go.
Yeah, we'll give Brewster potentially, but we haven't really got anyone else we can... I mean, we can always bring Musette on for Brewster and switch them around again, but we'll give it another 5 minutes or so before we do that.
Perfect.
Okay. So far, so good.
So far, so good.
So
indeed.
far, so
a lot
good.
of mentions in the chat, particularly from our mate Curtis, saying, "You're better than here, lads. Not used to seeing someone done quite like this," which is fair to say. We've gained a reputation over the last 3 years, I think.
I think we've got a penalty here.
Hello.
It's a penalty.
It's Billy Sharp as well.
Go on, Billy.
This
Don't
could-
let me down.
This could be a rout.
Don't let the chat down either.
Don't let me down.
Oh!
Right in the corner. Lovely stuff.
Perfect placement. Right, I'm going to rest some legs now again. Now that we've got an even bigger cushion. So, let's bring Musette on for Brewster. And then swap these two around.
Nicely done.
Defensively, I mean...
Can we change your wing back maybe?
I would take off Baldock and bring on Bogle.
Yeah.
One, because I think Bogle's an excellent player, and two, because Baldock's looking a bit tired.
Yeah.
Alright, let's change the difficulty. I can't let you done. I mean, we are at home to Millwall, so, you know, they're having a bit of a tough time at the moment. Or maybe we're just really good managers.
I mean, that's the way I like to look at it.
Let's go with that. Miles, another question for you that's been asked plenty, and feel free not to comment if you can't. A lot of asking about the Newcastle situation.
Yup,
Anything you can say there?
there is definitely a Newcastle situation. So I've already said that anything that hit our initial data lock last Monday will be reflected in the game, and the club was taken over by last Monday. Steve Bruce is still the manager of the club at the moment in real life, so will still be the manager of the club in game. The new ownership situation does obviously give them a larger budget than they would have had under their previous owner. But I'm not going to say, once the beta is out, people will see what their budget is. And to be frank, we've spent a lot of this week balancing stuff. There have been various tests being done by QA and by me of running tests over multiple seasons to see who Newcastle bring in, who they don't, and how that ties in with what we believe is going to happen in real life, based around all the spies that we have all over the place and talk to, some of which has been very conflicting info, so we're making educated guesses. So yes, they will have more money to spend, but I'm not going to say how much, and I'm not going to say at the moment the level of player they're able to get by default, because the last time I spoke about this on Twitter, I've never known so much abuse to come my way from two completely opposite ends of the fan base. And for the record, if anyone is watching this, I love Newcastle. I'm looking directly at the camera now, so you can really see this. I love Newcastle. I've spent a lot of time now. I used to work with a band who lived up there called Dubstar, so I spent loads of times up there. It's one of my favourite away trips. Even for occasionally sneaking into one of the home pubs near the ground and going and having a drink. I've always been really well welcomed there. Love the people, love the Geordies, the sense of humour. So the people last week, after I sent out a tweet saying that I sent out that tweet because I hated Newcastle or Newcastle, nothing could be further from the truth. Absolutely love the place. So yeah, don't think bad of me just because
Good answer.
I said something.
We saw as well in that little spell where actually we were getting a bit of pressure put on us that because we're sitting a little bit deeper, we've changed the mentality a little bit.
Yeah.
Some shots coming in that are getting blocked, but the keeper's still reacting because
That's
he
what
obviously
you do.
he isn't sure if his defender's going to get there or not.
Yeah.
So that's obviously been prevalent in previous games, but again, a lot smoother, a lot more consistent if the right situation develops. So
Yeah.
good to see.
I just realised I didn't make the joke about you being banished to the stands. Did I? You know?
Oh, because I'm
Because you're in the stands,
right.
Yeah.
We'll practice that all day, and you forgot.
That was meant to be in the intro, never mind. Smooth as anything. Well, I tell you what.
If you have been banished to the stands, Dom, then according to one of the feature announcements that I made today, that means that we have to have a meeting. Because if you do now get sent off and get a touchline ban, you have to have a board meeting.
There you go. And one thing, if people have missed it, one thing that we announced, what was it, about an hour before we went on the stream? What a feature this is, Mars. Tell us a bit more.
Dynamic youth ratings. I've been wanting this in the game for a long time for various reasons. Hasn't happened. I've been wanting to announce it for a long time during this cycle, and it wasn't originally on my list of things to announce. It was going to be something that Dom and Tom got to announce on their list, but it got moved across to my list yesterday, I think it was. I couldn't have been happier, so I saved that for the last one today. So what dynamic youth ratings means is, at the moment in game, each nation has a fixed youth rating. So each club can build their youth ratings up, but the nations can't. If you now do one of those long-term saves that we know that lots of you like to do, in a less than top 10 footballing nation, it will mean that as you go along and are having success playing in that country, particularly for national teams as well, if the national teams start doing better, the youth rating will go up as it would do in real life, because more investment comes into the game and more people get into the game at a younger age. So it's one that's really there for those long-term saves, and we've seen so many of those in the last year. More people than ever are kind of playing one game for the whole year. So our play times are massively up, partly because people haven't been going out as much during the year, partly because Everton 21 was really bloody good. I'm allowed to say that now, aren't I? I have to bite my lip for the rest of the year. But it's a really, really good game. And so we've seen those play times go up, and seeing that in the early stages of FM 21 gave us enough ammo to actually get this feature worked on and get it nailed, because really complicated thing to do, requires lots and lots of testing when we're doing it. But I'm so happy that's in there, and the reaction when I dropped that one today,
great, isn't it?
The quote retweets that were going on, just huge reaction. I also just want to say something, if I can, about the fact that I'm tweeting out features, and some people find that a little bit strange, right? That I'm tweeting out features as the not official Football Manager account. But the way that we split this stuff up is the FM account is there for a much wider group of people than my account is there for. I'm there as a human. It is a personal account, but I understand that a lot of the real hardcore players want to follow me and want to have conversations with me, and that's awesome. I love having conversations with people as well. I'm really active on there because I enjoy it. But when we're doing things like the big feature videos and the big feature reveals, a large part of that is for the more mainstream audience, because we've got a very big audience on Football Manager. So we have to break things down into what is going to get the most pre-orders for the game and what we're going to spend money promoting, and that's where those big videos come in. But then there are also hundreds of other features in the game that we want to talk about, that doing that on the FM account will get people going back, but why are you even talking about that? Whereas from my account it fits perfectly, and as we keep going on about, every feature is my favourite feature. I love all those tiny little things and the big things, because it's all one big sum of its own part. So that's why those things come from me and are more appropriate coming from me than the FM account. That could change in the future. We could have different ways of doing things in the future, but for now, that's why we do it the way that we do. And it's actually Dom and Tom this year who got to choose most of the features that came into my pod. They chose the features that going into the blogs along with the rest of the comms team and those feature videos, and there's a separate pool for me, and then I go through the ones that are left at the end that aren't going to be announced at all and choose a few more to go in. So 5 a day wasn't a thing until what, last Friday was it?
Yeah, I think it was last Friday. Yeah.
It was last Friday. I'd gone through the database and found another 20 or 30 things that I wanted to announce that Dom and Tom were like, yeah, makes total sense. So that's how we've got 5 a day rather than the 2 or 3 a day that I was going to be doing.
One thing I was just going to show off, and I think people haven't seen this yet. I don't think we showed it off in the blogs. I don't think we showed it off in the studio's videos. But these scatter graphs, these player scatter graphs, I think are great for sort of seeing exactly, you know, not just on a player by player basis in terms of your team, but also seeing in terms of that spread of different players across the league as well. And it's not just players that are actually in your squad, but it's also, you can see here, players who are also out on loan but just happen to be registered to you. So really, really good to keep an eye on a wide range of players at your disposal, both in your first team and maybe some prospects who are playing in the same league that you've loaned out elsewhere. So I just want to show it off. One of my favourite new additions.
Okay. You love a scat graph, don't you, Tom?
I'm a bit of a geek like that when it comes to data and graphs.
We're going to have a lot of people falling in love with scatter graphs this year.
Well, I'm hoping that we'll have, in 10 years' time, the same way that we have a lot of people now who are getting into coaching and into football professionally, saying, oh, it's because of Football Manager that, you know, I've taken on this career path. I'm hoping that in 10 years' time we'll have a whole range of like data analysts and recruitment analysts.
There were already a lot of data analysts and recruitment analysts who've grown up without the scatter graphs because they were making their own scatter graphs at home. Off the back of what was going on in game. It's always brilliant when we see people who've grown up playing the game getting jobs in real football, because Football Manager's not real. I know it feels real, but it's not.
Right, I think we're all looking healthy. I'm going to go with that because I feel that is probably our strongest team, and Sharp probably deserves another go after his performance last time.
All looking good.
All looking good. Let's try and keep the good times going. It's a bit of a Yorkshire derby, this. Barnsley away.
So the only reason that I'm pushing for Billy is he's one of the people that are left in football that still makes me think I could be a pro. Because whilst there's still a big age gap between me and Billy Sharp, it's not nearly as big as the age gap between me and Erling Haaland. So, you know, I've still got a chance.
Okay, we're away, so I'm going to try and tone things down a little bit in terms of the expectations. So I just want them to impress me. I'm not asking for a win.
So I'm asking if we could open up the tablet once we get into a game as well to show some of the action in there as well. Also, a couple of questions about these lovely shirts that we're rocking.
I got a better,
not for sale,
brand,
sadly, which is obviously the question that's going around.
I don't even believe I've got those shirts in the history cupboard, so I was looking at them earlier and not knowing where they come from either.
So these were designed / made for just 5-a-side that we play in the office. So these were in the cupboard with tags that we found earlier in the week.
Brand new with tags.
Red and white as well for Sheffield United, almost like this was planned.
It's fate, wasn't it?
And obviously it's got lovely brand in it, SI logo that we can kiss the badge on after a few goals.
It also makes it quite clear that this season's FMFC shirts haven't turned up yet.
Also that as well. Yes, more news to come on those.
And I'm not one of the cool kids, so I didn't get one.
Well, we'll tell you what, we'll put that right at the end of this game.
Back into the cupboard we go.
Yeah, there are a few left in there.
Just make sure there's one in the history cupboard, please. I don't need one for myself.
Right, it was a tablet we were after, wasn't it?
Probably.
Is there anything in particular that people want to see on the tablet?
Just wanted you to open it up, mate, really.
There you go. We can do that. Okay.
Also,
well, it's taking up half the screen.
Yeah, I mean, you can also put it back down again, that's fine.
Yeah.
Great save palm around the post there.
I actually learned something the other day because I reported something as a bug that it turned out that isn't a bug. And this was an FM21 thing, not an FM22 thing. But can you just click on the scoreboard?
Okay.
Yeah. Did you know that comes up if you click on the scoreboard?
I did know that.
I didn't know that.
I didn't, and I reported it as a bug until someone turned around and went, that was a feature from last year that was signed off, and you just need to click on the scoreboard again and it goes away. So
there you go.
There's a lot of features in every year, and I forget about them sometimes.
There are a lot of features.
How many features this year, Miles, roughly, if you could put a number on it?
I've been told so many times to not put numbers on it anymore. Because it also depends on how you look at the number. Because there are the raw features, and then there's the breakdown of those features into bits. So if you look into actual tasks in Helix, which is the database that we use, there were 3,600 tasks, but that's not how many features there were, because some features are broken down into multiple tasks. So it's probably somewhere between, it'll be somewhere between 800 and 1,200. But it's kind of meaningless at this point. There's so many things in there.
It's lots.
It's lots, and
Lots.
you know, people. I've been asked as well a few times, how many changes have there been to the database this year? And it's like, what do you want me to?
What a ball-in that was, by the way. Wow.
The wing play is really working. Sorry, Miles.
And you know, when you're looking at those kinds of things, the answer is there have been tens, if not hundreds of millions of changes in there, because if you change one number, that counts as a change.
Yeah.
So it, you know, it's always difficult to quantify, but
Lots.
Lots and lots.
shed loads. I think.
Shed loads. Also, many questions, just in general, throughout the stream about, you know, have we enacted this rule change? Have we done, you know, the change to this league, to
There's
that league?
so many.
And the overall answer is yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
the overall answer is probably.
yeah, if it changes in real life,
There are some rules that
We're on.
changed last week that we may not have done yet. So I know that there's been a change announced to the French structure, and I have absolutely no idea whether we're going to be able to change that in time for launch or not, because it depends on whether it will break something else. But yeah, there are loads and loads and loads of rule changes, and if the beta ends up being later than we want it to be, then you will end up finding out about loads of the rule changes, because I'll just end up doing 5 a days that are all rule changes. Right. I think I've got some of those scheduled.
I was going to say I've got some of those I can throw you away.
We've got some of those scheduled, but you know, I can do another couple of hundred or something. In fact, we could just delay the beta just so that I do more rule group changes. How does that go down on the chat?
Not great.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Okay.
I'd be worried if it did.
I won't do that.
A couple of people asking too. I thought we were going to double our lead there. But new gen faces, of course, as we get asked every year. Tom, perhaps after this game, go into the manager creation. Maybe just changes outfit a little bit.
Mix it up a little bit.
Just look at our manager man. And
Well, I mean, we are
creation
dangerously
suite.
close to top in the league, so at that point, I think the suit has to go on, doesn't it?
Sounds good.
We're tracksuit manager at the moment.
We can
But
showcase
How
some faces.
quickly can the managers in game grow moustaches?
Pretty quickly.
this is the tap of a button. We can even change his glasses as well.
Yeah.
I was admiring some of the when I was creating our manager. Looks a little bit like Justin Timberlake. Is the only thing I would say.
Is that a good thing?
I mean,
Did you base him on what you think you look like?
no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I can only dream. of that. But yeah, I was just playing around trying to see what the different options are. We'll get into that after the game, of course. There's a lot of new customization in there which you can do. But this has been suspiciously easy. Well, I doubt that's it. I've cursed this now. I shouldn't have said easy. I shouldn't have said easy. I was going to say smooth sailing.
Very
We'll say that
smooth
instead.
sailing, indeed. Very nice. We've just been able to kick back, relax, talk about the game without conceding any goals. It's been nice. No suspense.
I think Olsen's made 2 blinding saves.
I mean, that helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We've got an international level goalkeeper.
Oh,
Flex.
he's turned in. Oh,
Fleck's
again.
done that in the last few games. That box-to-box role is really helping us there.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Here we go.
Ooh.
Oh, and the defender reacted first.
I don't know what you're panicking about, guys.
Free kicks are better this year, by the way.
Free kicks are better this year.
I saw a couple of stunning free kick goals last night.
We should also, Tom, I guess, try and exhaust our players purposely.
So
that we can see the inaccuracy coming through.
Yeah, okay.
Obviously, we're trying to win the game, but there's also a balance on show here, you know, showcasing the match engine AI that we've been talking about so highly.
I'm happy to run them into
Happy with that?
Yeah, one of my favourite things is how now, if a player's really tired, their first touch just goes completely. Often, especially if you're playing lower down the leagues as well. Yeah, I've had a few times where it's been finely poised. I've maybe been drawing or one goal down and then thinking this is it. This is a counter attack that's going to bring us back into it. And then
Well, we had to do specific motion capture on that of like, because normally when we do motion capture it's with people who've got a good touch, so they just brought me into this. we didn't do that. That's not true.
okay, we're at,
What was we talking about? Suspiciously easy? Tom?
yeah, I know. Don't. Here we go. Oh, what a save!
Wilson again. Maybe we're too
Okay,
attacking.
the good thing about the fact that we have gone rubbish is at least we are showing off some of the new keeper animations.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually why we're doing it.
It's all part of the plan. All part of the plan.
Yeah, because Tom has that much control over what he does in the game.
Oh dear. This is flashbacks to last year now.
It's fine. We're going to steal one.
It is good. You know how sometimes people wrongly turn around and say that the game is scripted, which is so completely the opposite. I hope people are seeing now with this stream how completely unscripted everything we do at Sports Interactive.
If we could script it, we would win every game.
Yeah.
6-0.
We'd come back from 2-0 down at half time every single time.
But not if you had to send the script to me for approval. I turn around and go, you've got to have the Pixar moment of when everything goes wrong.
Yeah.
Just for 5 minutes, everything has to go wrong, and then it goes great again.
So we're also getting a comment. Make changes, you madmen. But this is purpose. We're doing this on purpose.
We're just trying to see what happens
here.
here.
If we can see those tired touches, a misplaced header there from our very tired right wing back, and it's all about that inaccuracy that we were talking about earlier in the stream. If you missed that, that comes into play.
And also the decision making. One thing that you won't obviously see above the surface in terms of the program that's gone into it, but we've just improved decision making across the board, particularly on the ball. You'll notice now players are much more aware of their surroundings and where their teammates are and what their capabilities are in terms of their on the ball animations and movements. They also have more freedom, more flexibility to do more things when they're on the ball as well. So, well, for example, previous years they might find themselves sort of boxed into a corner on the flank.
Oh, it's a sitter. It's a sitter.
That is a let off. I was saying that they might find themselves boxed into a corner down the flank, and they would either have to try and play across or just try and hold on to the ball and inevitably get tackled. Now you'll see them pivot. You'll see them look for options, look to recycle the play as well to keep possession. So just a lot more intelligent all around.
It's inevitable, isn't it?
I don't think we're going to hold on.
Lots of comments.
I don't think we're going to hold on. Oh!
Lots of comments now saying the red hearts are making people anxious. Trying to accurately create inaccuracy, which is nice. He's just holding on at this stage.
As someone who's seen him play too many times, though, they do have a Lari up front.
They do.
So
Yeah.
I'll be a Lari.
possibly being the saving grace.
I'm going to go...
It's a bit late for that.
Unbalanced.
Get it away. Take a draw here.
Okay. Imagine a goal on
Shots
counter.
offside.
Oh, he's offside.
Okay,
It's a
that'll
draw.
do.
That's a draw. I'll take that.
Considering we were purposely trying to,
Yeah.
tire out our players, which
I'm still going to point the finger at them though.
okay, yeah, a bit harsh, but okay.
There we go.
at this point, I'm going to vanish for like 5 or 10 minutes because I'm meant to be the person popping in rather than here the whole time. So I'm just going to go back to my desk because we're actually in the office today.
Yeah.
Come on!
It's very
What a
nice.
beautiful
It's
office it
really,
is.
really rare, and yeah, it's fantastic. So, am I alright to pop back in 10 minutes?
Absolutely.
Sorry everyone, this is why I don't stream in real life. I'm an old man, I can't do this all the time. Be back soon.
Awesome.
Right, we're on our own now. Which means, you know what? It's all going to go wrong.
Okay.
You know?
I was
We just
actually
have to
gonna-
accept that.
I was actually going to say, regardless of whether Miles is here or not, to show off the pressing, we should probably just go full gegenpress. Thoughts?
You mad?
What?
Are you mad? We've got a system here that's working. Fine.
Let's do it.
I love how it we came into this saying we'll get top 2. That's what we're going for. And now it's like, right, let's try and show this off. Let's try and show this off. This is how it happens. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that if you want to.
I'm just going to type into the chat, gegenpress, yay or nay. And see what comes up.
I know they're going to say yay.
You've got 7 days, Tom. It's fine.
Okay,
Skip
fine.
through
Well, I
and-
want to give them time to work on it in training.
Yay.
Right,
Full
it's happening.
gegenpress, 424. Our friend, the guru and colleague, we should say. A
Olivier.
little 4-2-3-1, perhaps, Tom.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. Right, okay.
Let's skip ahead and come back so we know who's fit, who's not. We've just killed them all, basically, over the last 90 minutes. So
Dealing with personal issues here from players.
that worked.
No, we're going to decline it. We want to get into the next game. Obviously, if everyone's developing concerns. We're doing really well. I don't know what's going on. My players are.
We have a huge squad. That's the issue.
That is we did notice this earlier.
A huge squad.
A huge squad.
But it's all about whether we can manage it or not.
Now, ordinarily I would attend the meeting. What we'll do is, as Miles said, he said that you can still get the inbox feedback from your staff. So we'll do that. That will come through, and we can address anything there and then as we want to. But yeah, I'm dreading this now. I'm dreading this. I feel like we're gonna tumble. I feel like we're gonna tumble.
Can we potentially change our manager round, like we mentioned earlier? Oh, there he is. Look at him.
See, Justin Timberlake. Do you think or not?
Yeah, sort of.
That was Deck. Producer Deck that was his shout earlier. Okay, what do you want to do? This obviously we haven't shown this off yet, and there is a blog on this, but you guys are friends, so we'll let you see it before anyone else. So, manager creator this year, lots of new options, lots more customization, and a bit of a revamp in terms of how you put your manager model together. So we won't go into too much detail. We'll save some of it for the blog, but plenty of new ways that you can sort of customize your look to suit you. As you see here, things like facial hair. We've got a lovely little beard going on here. Glasses. We can change his glasses type. We can give him the old
Look at those.
hipster special.
Look at those.
We can give him the Deirdre Rashid for anyone from Coronation Street. We'll give him those. We'll change his glasses. He's got a new
Nice.
a new prescription. Right. I want to change him to we're going full suit.
Let's go full suit to sort of looks like the Colonel. The white blazer and red shirt. We should probably change that. Yeah, that'll do.
Oh, that's a lovely look, isn't it?
Yeah.
Red shirt. It's quite 80s.
I'm
Quite
not sure about the
80s.
shoes, but again, let's
We
try
can
and
mix
get
it
into
up.
a game.
We can mix it up.
We've shown the
Fine.
improvements. the
We'll give him
layout.
those. We'll give him those. It's
Nice.
fine. More to come on that when the blog is
And then
available.
where possible, Tom, we should also try and show off new gen faces. So when they come up, whether that be staff or unless you want to go to the dev centre.
Wonder if we've got any in the dev centre.
Yeah, it may not be
I'm gonna let my staff handle
simple
all
enough, right?
No, I don't
We've
think
not
so.
had a youth intake just yet, but they'll come up through staff or
They are. I mean, they are.
later on into the season.
They are better. You can notice it straight away that they are, an upgrade on even what was there last year.
Absolutely utilising Billy
Look.
Sharp here. He's scoring goals. He's
But he's not
But now
solving any of the
fires.
issues. Okay, right.
We may just have to accept them.
Do you want to
Just
accept them?
Stop him moaning.
Okay. That will solve a lot of our problems. To be fair, that's why you're here.
There you go.
Okay, so for this, I forgot we're playing 4-2-3. I was like, that's not right. Okay, I'm just gonna say, yeah. Fine.
That's fine. Let's. We've not dived too closely into tactical instructions themselves. Obviously, very similar to last year.
Yeah.
But let's have a tweak. People, for the next 60 seconds, shout some stuff out.
What do we want to see?
Obviously, we're running with the plug and play Gegenpress, which Nick spoke about in episode 1, which
he claimed is no longer going to do the business.
It's a bold claim.
Are we essentially now trying to disprove Nick?
No.
Who created the Match AI essentially, or produced the Match AI for this year?
No.
Okay.
What Nick said is that you can't just Gegenpress like a real team can't. So it relies on rotation, it relies on stamina, having the right players.
Yeah.
So just be a bit more clever with it. Don't just expect to load it up, with your non-league side.
Stick them all in there.
It's not going to happen
exactly.
anymore.
What are we thinking then? What the chat's saying in terms of the different team instructions? What have we got?
Not a lot currently. We are getting asked to show out possession instructions. So again, the key of the Gegenpress. Lots of talk about pressing triggers. Obviously, that's a new thing in the game. It doesn't correlate into the tactical instructions themselves, but it's something you'll notice within the game. And again, it's all to do with Match Engine AI, right?
Yeah, exactly. So now players are much more aware of their capability to press the ball. So someone who has lots of stamina will be able to press the ball much more often, whereas someone who maybe lacking a little bit in stamina, maybe coming back from an injury and just working their way up to full fitness, have to drop back a little bit more often to their usual position and sit back and wait for the ball to come to them. So it's a balancing act. I mean, here we've got the press set to much more often. I might just drop it down one to save the legs, because we've had a heavy run of games in the last few weeks. So, okay. I mean, I'm happy.
All good.
I'm happy. I might just hit early crosses because it was working for us.
Okay.
A
little bit of lag there.
There we go. Right. Should we get into it? Because it's another.
We've got a suit to show off.
We've got a suit to show off. We're at home. We're at home as well, so we're in front of adoring fans. And it's a big game because look, we are starting to slip a little bit from the top two. Some might say we probably shouldn't have tried to invite pressure against Barnsley, but what's done is done.
Some would say that, but
some might say we shouldn't be changing tactical philosophy from
game
game to day.
But we're also giving the chat the people what they want. And
exactly.
They want to see the pressing triggers within the game.
Exactly. Right. Here we go then. So.
Also, Gibbs White's too good to sit on the bench.
He's too good. So. I mean, their squad. You said their squad's huge. It's also an embarrassment of riches. Like the players they've got at disposal. Lovely. Okay, so let's put a pressure on them. Let's try and force them to get there on the front foot. So, I mean, we can't really show pressing if we're on the ball, but we'll come to it. There's a lovely little Cruyff turn then.
Very nice. A debut again, thanks to the Match Engine, animation engine, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing we could maybe get into, maybe in the second half, is to flick around different camera angles. People obviously. Brewster, once again.
Oh, let's stay on Gegenpress.
Gibbs White slipping him in as well.
Let's stay on Gegenpress. I'm sold. I'm sold.
Maybe we could flick on 2D for a bit.
Yeah.
Show off different camera angles.
Of course.
There's a 2D loyal community out there that we need to satisfy, so we shall do that. It's looking good, Tom, right?
I mean,
looking good.
No complaints so far. No complaints from me. Boys are doing well. We're playing some lovely stuff. I mean, we are knocking it around so easily here. What a ball in again. Bulldog to Brewster. There's a little partnership coming there. A little partnership. We're not even 10 minutes in yet. We could be well, I won't jinx that.
Hold your horses.
My horses are held. Firmly held. Well, can we get some thoughts from the chat on what they've seen? I mean, I don't know how long we are in. I haven't even got to watch me, but
It's 8:30.
so we've done an hour and a half.
90 minutes.
My words.
A 90-minute slog.
90 minutes in. So what are people saying? Were you excited to get your hands on FM22? Were you more excited than when you joined the stream? Are there things that we've shown you here that you hadn't seen before, or what bits have excited you the most? Just let's hear your thoughts, and because we don't this month for us, we're just sort of. I mean, less so for you because you're obviously on social 24/7 at this point. But for me, I'm sort of dipping in and out, so I'm not seeing everything that people are sort of are saying. And
John Egan, that's a lovely run as well, which it's not something you saw too much before, right?
Set Piece FC.
Set Piece
It's
FC.
back. It's back. It went away from the Barnsley game, but we are back. What a run as well! Lovely. Like he ran in from the edge of the
Lost
area.
his marker.
Beautiful.
Maybe there was a block in there somewhere as well.
Beautiful.
Lovely stuff.
Okay. This is very, very good. I'm gonna give us another shout. Again, I might as well praise this because what else can you say? Brewster. Oof. Okay, trying to turn his man. Freeman. Oh, I thought he was
Complete
going in.
domination. Complete domination. Time flies when you're having fun. That is right, Bradley. It does indeed.
Freeman.
Egan again.
It's happened again.
Egan again.
Keeper there. If you watch the keeper, this is one of my favourite things now. Like when it all comes together with the match engine this year, like you see that, the keeper's trying his best to get there, and it just looks so realistic. Like we've all seen it before. Keeper in no man's land. Yes.
Keeper also. Rainbow armband. If you noticed that.
There you go.
Some additions there to sort of match day accessories, items, corner flags, banners in the stadiums, armbands. Really nice little touches. Protective gear.
Protective gear.
Some really nice little bits and pieces there added
Yeah.
to the whole overall match experience, which is nice.
And even like the designs of the armbands and things like that, they're just there's a lot more. The art team have been hard at work, sort of bringing in, there's little touches, adding a bit more variety to what you see from game to game as you go through the season. And I mean, I'll tell you what, if I had a cap, I'd be taking it off because that is a superb first half. That is an absolute look at the domination. I mean, RSG is pretty good, but silence them.
Yeah, we've been
silence
critical.
them.
Say that we've had 11 shots.
Well,
Looking good.
no, we've had 12 shots. We put 11 on target.
Can we get Brewster off, please? It's got a bit.
Has he got a knock?
Yeah.
Completely missed that. Six, good job you're here. You're doing brilliantly. Look at that. Absolutely love us. Okay, so Brewster off. Are we thinking? I mean, we'll have to bring me something, won't we?
Again. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's good. Fine. They've made a couple of subs. Well, you would, wouldn't you, if you're 3-0 down? Got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
We've also got Bulldog on a yellow, so I might give him 10. Give him 10, see if he can settle down, and then I'll switch it up.
If we get a penalty, put John Egan on it
For a hat trick.
for the hat
It
trick.
should happen automatically, shouldn't it?
It will at least give you the option for sure. I thought he was going to score again.
I mean, what a story if he. Oh
my god! Centre half. What's he doing? Players oozing with confidence.
I mean, what have we created here?
Regime.
What have we
Incredible.
created? That's cleared. That is cleared.
Oh, can we show off 2D, Tom?
Oh yeah, we're going to do camera angles, weren't we? Right.
We constantly forget things that we call
Just
out.
get wrapped up in the game. Right, 2D.
Nice.
Okay, here we go. Okay. I still like to dabble in 2D every now and again.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
Yeah.
It's just a nice bit of
Nostalgia.
Take my words out in a minute. Yeah, that. Very nice.
Oh, sharp!
Sharp.
Sharp!
Oh,
Oh!
he's tipped it round the post.
That was brilliant by Sheffield United. There you go.
It
That's
was.
what we're here for. Should we go through the camera angles? Might as well.
Yeah.
You've also got side cam. Obviously, you can still adjust the height, adjust the zoom to suit your needs. Sideline cam's great. TV, this is a personal favourite of mine. Get that zoomed in. Oh, look at it.
Very nice.
Look at it.
Lovely shot of the ambulance.
It's a very important part of the match day equipment, alright? Behind goal. Let's go through the old vertical scrolling. Here we go.
It's just easy time, isn't it? This management stuff.
What's it? Yeah.
I don't know why we were panicking last year. We've always had this potential in us. Hang on.
Oh, what a block! John Egan again.
Oh,
Oh wait.
clip, wouldn't it?
John Egan. The absolute boy. Data analyst, and then of course the director. Can we go on TV for a bit? Because I feel like
for a bit. I reckon we could probably flick it onto Key and get through a few games, get back into the inbox and show him some more stuff as well. What do you think?
yeah, let's do it. Also, I completely missed what I was going to do. I said give him 10 minutes. I'll give him 15, 20.
No, right back.
Where is? Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! Okay, we'll get Fleck off and we'll bring. Yeah, let's bring Norwood on.
Nice.
Let's bring Norwood on. Okay. I just want to see the league table quickly, see if we can. Okay. It's good. We're only 1 point off the top now.
In it. Hopefully, Bournemouth slip up in the next one.
We'll see. Okay, so all our work was done in the first half, really, wasn't it? There.
Yeah.
Now the quick question is: are we going to stick with? Surely we've got to stick with Gegenpress now, right? Or are we going to mix it back up?
I think we've got to stick with it. A few people saying Gegenpress is still clearly OP. We've just won 3-0. The changes to Gegenpress in the AI had to do with players being more aware of their stamina. This is a one-off game where we changed it, so the changes you'll see over more medium, long term.
Let's see how it goes.
Basically, you're going to be forced to have to rotate more.
Yeah.
And sort of how the constant reliance on Gegenpress is going to be what changes, right?
Yeah, exactly. One thing here, another new thing we haven't shown off yet: scout reports. Slight tweaks to scout reports, most notably the grading. So it used to obviously be a recommendation score out of 100. We've now brought this in line with other areas of the game, such as the monthly confidence report, and now you have a grade, which is a lot more realistic way of doing things, essentially. Because scouts, they don't. If you send a scout to go and watch a player, they don't necessarily go, "Yeah, he's a 75" from the first instance. Whereas here, they might be like, "Yeah, okay, I think he could be here." And then obviously, as you scout them more, that can fluctuate, it can change. You can see obviously the pros and cons still there, but now they also include the analysts' feedback as well. That's also automatically baked into a report straight away. So just a lot more information contained in there and delivered in a much more realistic manner. And obviously you've got your action buttons down here, so you can say directly from the report now, you can ask the agent's about his availability. Particularly useful, we haven't obviously played through deadline day yet, but if you're getting reports in the lead up to deadline day or on deadline day itself, then it's a great way to sort of quickly action that and find out, okay, I've got this much to play with, how much is this player going to cost? And you can adjust your targets based on that, which is obviously really useful. I'm not going to talk to the press. I'm not going to talk to the press. We've got it's conflicts of interest for me next. We've got Forest next.
Forest. Are they
It's
in the
fine.
table?
They're right up there with us. So they are in 4th, I think. It's a big game. Is it promotion 6-pointer, essentially? Playoff 6-pointer.
Well, we're going for bigger things than last time, you know that.
I know that. The fans know that. What's this? What are you saying?
Rotation is obviously being asked of us here. Thick and fast fixtures coming in the championship.
Coming in.
Obviously, we've been Gegenpressing. We also purposely made our players tired in the previous game. It's good to see.
But if you look at, so let's have a look at there. You can see here, you know, a few of the players taking quite a while to get back to full fitness after that first switch to gegenpress. I mean, even players who it's said to recommend to keep playing, like Billy Sharp, they're still not there yet. So and the game's tomorrow, so it's really important, more important than ever, really, to sort of stay on top of all of that and make sure that you're rotating your squads. But we've been rejoined now by Miles.
Do you want to know the real reason why I had to go when I went?
Please.
Because I realised that I've got a home delivery shopping order coming tomorrow. And as I mentioned to Dom earlier today, I'd forgotten that the Watford game was an early kick-off. So I was due to be at Watford after the kick-off and realised that my home delivery order was coming whilst I was at the football. So I had to go and change the date of my home delivery order to the next day. So thank you for that, everyone, for letting me do that before I got a load of food delivered when I wasn't at home. How's the rest of the stream gone?
Well,
good, yeah.
Good.
We've switched it up. We've gone gegenpress to try and show off some repressing. It worked very, very well. We played one game with it so far. We won 3-0 against Blackpool.
3-0 against Blackpool.
The team's done an incredible job with the pressing this year, and I'm sure Nick's probably tuned in like he normally is. Nick Madden, who's the producer on the match team. One of the changes we've made, we've spoken in the videos that we've done about the production and practice changes that we've done. And pressing, I was reminded this today by CJ, who's one of the QA guys on the match team. Pressing actually went in really early in the cycle. And when you're making a change like pressing, you can't just make it towards the end and then spend a couple of weeks tweaking it or a month tweaking it. It's got to be absolutely nailed. So very deliberately, that was one of the first features that was worked on for FM22 so that we had enough time to really QA it and nail it. So pressing is here, but partly because of the new production practices in the studio that we brought in this year. So I know not everyone's interested in that, but some people are interested in those sides of things. So.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And well, part of our pre-match advice was to press more often. So hopefully we'll see even more of it in this game, and you can really see how defenders sort of pick up and try and drive the press, and then when they're a little bit tired in the second half, maybe towards the end, they might have to sit back because they're all out of steam and they know that they've got to conserve their energy if they're gonna defend properly. So yeah, plenty. Obviously, we're only doing like a small sample, as Dom said here, of a few matches over the course of a season. You know, it's really, really important to keep rotating, keep players coming in and out of the team, keeping them fresh. And really had that, I think, you know, over the last few years now, we've talked about long-term planning, really keeping an eye on upcoming fixtures, and that's more important than ever. And it's set-piece FC again.
Goal. Another set-piece goal.
Set-piece FC again. And Billy Sharp. Again, it's only when Miles is here that Billy Sharp finds the back of the net.
Oh, it's a joy to watch at the moment. It's a joy to watch. A point we should probably make as well, people in the chat are asking, you know, can you improve this, can you improve that, things that we've not spoken about in announcership because they've not changed too much. As a general point, the forums is a great place to go, Miles. Can you talk on that?
We've got suggestions forum at community.sigames.com. Every single idea gets looked at. Every idea that isn't a duplicate of something that's been there before goes to a team of people now before it comes to me. So it goes to our features team. I then ask lots of information about how many people are going to that particular screen and stuff like that. There's a lot of data that goes into it, and if we like it, off the back of what's said, if it fits into part of the feature set for that next game that we're working on, then it goes in there. If not, it goes into a database that we are working our way through. There's thousands of ideas in there that we want to do. So please do put them in there, and it's really important they go on the forums rather than people putting them in chats. You can still talk about them, of course, you can talk about them in here, but if they go into Twitch chats, or even if you tweet me or tweet the FM account about them, kind of goes into a black hole, because the process that we've got is based on the forum. We've got people checking that all the time. So I go through. Outside of the times where where we're feature complete, I tend to go through 20 or 30 feature ideas a week. So it's not something that we just do at the end anymore. We do it throughout the year. So we're completely open to all ideas apart from asking what you can spend your salary on. Because if you want to start spending your salary, then we've got to put in things like buying houses and the cost of dogs and having children and replicate lots of stuff that we don't really want to be trying to simulate.
Yeah, that's simulation. Missed the great, well, say missed. Miles, I don't know if you saw that. Billy Sharp pulling away from his man.
Lovely back heel to get them cross set up as well.
Unlock the wing.
Oh.
There are so many touches like that that have actually been in the match engine, but the animation engine hasn't been able to handle them over the years, and now it can. I was talking.
That is a ridiculous goal.
I was talking earlier about it.
It should be upset him. I'm absolutely loving this.
That one, that was pretty nice.
Oh man.
He's a capable player.
Coming back to the point about raising features on the forums, when Dom and I have been going through, I'm sure you've seen this more often than we have, Miles, but the amount of things that's in this year's feature set that are marked as coming from the forums is really significant.
Including one from 2006.
Yes.
So there is a feature in the game this year that was requested on our forums in 2006 that basically, when we were putting the feature set together and I saw that there was such a low numbered feature in the DB, I went, look, we all like this one. Let's just do it this year. So that's one there. But the feedback that we get is really, really important from people, and we are one of the most active studios out there when it comes to talking to the people who play our game. And I know that you and you two both know this, but the only issue that I have, I thought that the videos this year were brilliant, but a couple of people mentioned the word users, and that's just not a word that we use internally. It's players, and the difference for me is users tend to be people that are a bit invisible, whereas players puts a more human element of it. So really do encourage the ideas just in the right place so that everyone gets to see them rather than just a couple of people. Particularly when you're tweeting them to us. I know that we reply to a lot of people on Twitter, it's something that we like to do. But it does mean, because we reply to people a lot, means we get a lot more tweets than a lot of other games companies, and therefore things do get lost quite easily. People tweeting me tonight, for example, I've been in it, that's probably going to get lost because there's so many things, but I do appreciate every single one of you and every single tweet that you send me.
So we've obviously won that one as well quite convincingly. That was probably our best performance of the night.
That was some beautiful stuff.
One thing I've noticed, virtually every single player now is shattered after playing two back to back. So, again, just proves just how important it is to keep things mixed, and it actually probably helps us having that big squad that we talked about previously.
Definitely. We've got a luxury there.
Yeah.
One more thing from the chat, just a general shout out. Soccer with Brian is watching. Hello, Soccer with Brian.
Brian.
A lovely guy, just constantly tweeting positive vibes.
Brian.
And I don't actually think Brian realises how much that stuff means as well, because we get positive tweets, we also get lots of negative tweets. But Brian has got our back at all times, and the amounts of times you've actually cheered me up, Brian, with one of your tweets, just saying thank you for everything you do, really does mean a lot. So thank you.
Definitely.
So it's good he's watching, so, so I can say that to
Watching
him and
from the
embarrass him in
States.
front of everyone.
We should get him to the office when that's a thing again, flying over from the States.
Would absolutely love to do that.
Let's
Absolutely.
There you go, we've made it happen.
If we can ever fly again, and if the office is ever open again.
There you go. It's all going well, Tom. It's all going well.
It's going too well.
Congratulations.
I don't actually like this.
Are
I
we
am
gonna
now
have-
worried that the game. If Tom's doing well at the game,
I know. I was
it's
going to
too
say
easy.
this might delay the beta because we've got to go back to
Yeah.
to making it more difficult.
I'm not doing as well in my save at the moment. So
Okay.
I mean, it was your idea to go get. So it was. I'm throwing this back at you
I'll
on that.
take all the credit. I'll take all the credit. A couple of people have asking. They've jumped through halfway through. Will this go up on YouTube afterwards? It certainly will.
Absolutely.
Look out for that over the weekend or latest on Monday when we'll pick that back up so you can see the whole thing in full. But yeah, looking good.
It's looking very good.
Very good. A couple of questions as well, Miles, now that you're back in about online modes. We've not spoken too much about those yet. There's a blog coming about fantasy draft. Could you just talk more about that without giving away all the juice?
basically, fantasy draft has been quite a few changes this year. Some of them on the front end, a lot on the back end to make it a better experience for everyone. So you should definitely read the blog, which should be, well, it does go into a lot more detail, doesn't it? So I've read about half of it so far, and that's great. So online, away from fantasy draft mode, hasn't had enough love this year, I'd say. I am quite critical of myself sometimes, although you might not believe that from my tweets. It's something that we need to look at. It's actually a bit weird when it comes to the online stuff. The online side of the game would be a lot easier to work with if we were all in the office, which seems like a bizarre thing to say when it's an online mode. But it's one of those things that requires a lot of blue sky thinking, which is really, really difficult to do via Teams, which is the system that we're on. There are lots of things that we want to do with it. And there are loads and loads and loads of suggestions, both for improvements to the current modes and for new modes as well. But outside of Fantasy Draft, there hasn't been a lot of work in that area for FM 2022, and there probably won't be for 23 either at this stage. So I know that might disappoint some people, but it's always better to be honest than not. But it will get a lot of love at some point. You know, it's at the moment I'd say it's probably functional. It works, but there's lots more that we want to do with it in the long term. And it's one of the beauties of working with on an annual iterative game that you can. You know, we could be working on it in the background, but just knowing that stuff is going to be ready for a couple of years, for example. But it will get lots of love. But Fantasy Draft is definitely very much improved this year, and yeah, there is a blog coming. Is that one that you've been writing, Tom, or is?
We actually got Olivier to write that because he has been raving about the changes to Fantasy Draft.
So Olivier is our French community manager,
who is in the chat as we speak.
Oh, excellent!
The guru.
The guru.
So yeah. It's good that he's seeing the changes and really likes them, because there are a lot of good things in there.
Yeah, it's a
it's
lot
good
of fun.
to know that he's written it as well.
Yeah.
That's good.
In English as well, a second language.
Exactly,
of course,
exactly.
Impressive.
Yeah, I think when we've got a little bit of time between beta and release, I think we might start our own fantasy draft. See, they were always a lot of fun when we were in the office.
Awful challenge.
Is he off?
He's off. You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming.
You could of course stream that, Tom, when you do it.
There we go.
But
See how brave we are.
Yeah, Lightning's not going to strike twice with us, is it? Well, actually, if we're playing against each other,
Yeah,
you know,
it might be different.
Might be different.
well, yeah, Dom will thrash it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm worried about. Again,
But the main message coming out of the stream today, apart from how beautiful the match engine looks and how people are getting to see the game so far, is basically play as Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
If
keep
I can do it, anyone can.
And keep rotating the massive squad that you've got on offer.
Okay, so we're going to tell them. Again, we've created loads. That's fine. We're away. We want to try and.
A question for
Yes.
Miles.
Oh.
Sorry, Tom.
It's alright.
You can answer afterwards, maybe. I don't know, Miles, if you're going to want to answer this, know how to answer this. Can we get a score out of 10 for the changes implemented from 21 to 22?
That's a great question.
I'm not really sure I understand. So, Tom, you think it's a great question? Can you explain it?
Yeah, so I think basically I think they're asking from 21 to 22.
Mm-hmm.
The changes that have made, like how much better is 22 compared to 21? I guess is breaking it down.
Are we talking football terms where we're talking about marginal gains, or are we talking
marginal gains is a good way to put it.
There are lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of marginal gains, and some things that are going to transform the way you play the game. I think the data hub definitely does that. The transfer stuff definitely does that, even though it looks like a small thing. But I'm also aware that there are some people who play the game who are never going to look at the data hub and they're never going to look at a staff meeting. For people like that, there's still loads for you to get into because you've seen the match engine now, you can see the changes that have been made there. We've still got time to balls it up before the beta, but let's hope we don't, because literally I have told them hands off the match engine now. So hopefully what you're seeing here in the match is what you'll see next week. But there are, with all of the changes, there is something for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's so important when we're putting the feature set together that I know that is Kieran in the chat.
He probably is.
Kieran doesn't like me talking about this, but you know we have lots of different types of players who play the game, right? And I spoke earlier about the hardcore and the mainstream, but there are so many different types of people who play the game, and we try to make sure that there are features for absolutely everyone rather than concentrating on one group. And this year that's definitely the case. And you know, I know, again, I said it in the videos, we are also in a pandemic. It's harder making games when you're in a pandemic. It is so cool today, in our socially distanced way, to be in the same building as you know, 4 of my colleagues, because we have one who is off camera as well in Deck. Say hello, Deck.
Hello, everybody.
That's producer Deck, everyone.
You know, it's been so rare in the last year that we've been able to do something like this, and it's awesome. It's so good being with humans. But you know, there's no excuses. That FM21, widely regarded as the best game they've ever made, that was made during a pandemic. FM22 has also been made during a pandemic, with us having learnt loads about the issues of trying to make games for pandemics. So I'm personally, I think FM22 is a much better game than FM21. I'm enjoying it loads more.
That's what we want to hear.
And have been for months, to be frank. It's been quite difficult booting FM21 up again when we had the first features going in there. So yeah, but as always the case, I don't think I'm a salesman when it comes to this kind of stuff, because I will turn around and go, if you're unsure, if you've seen the feature videos, if you've seen the tweets, if you're watching this stream and you're still unsure, there will be a free demo of the game available on PC and Mac. On day 1 is when we're trying to get it, so on the day of release. So if you are unsure, try the demo and make your own mind up. We're never going to sit here and say, you must buy the game and do the full pre-order now with klaxons going on. That's not us. We believe that our work is really, really good. If you do too, then you can spend your 35, your 40 quid, be entertained for a year. And if you don't, if you play the demo and you don't like it, I'm sorry that we didn't make something that you like this year. Hopefully we will again at some point in the future, but I don't know, again, I'll get told off by the comms people for saying that.
I think that was a good answer.
So I just went on holiday there because we had an international flight.
All good.
I guess we're allowed to do that for streams.
Yeah.
I get asked quite a lot, why don't we add more things in for when you go on holiday? If you're going on holiday, you don't need anything else in it.
What, as in
like,
destination?
Can I have an Can I have an option when I'm going on holiday for it to break when I'm doing this? No, just don't go on holiday.
Right, okay, so
can we just,
yes.
sorry, just off the chat, and I think maybe this should be our last game.
I was going to say, because we are in a good position.
In a good spot. We're playing Coventry with 7. level on points with 5th. Big game to end it on.
If it's our last game as well, we guarantee ourselves top 2,
Really?
which is a good thing.
Very nice.
Yeah. Sorry,
we
what
go
were you
into
saying?
Data Hub and just maybe look at what we learned from the last game. I know we've explored it a little bit, but
Yeah.
we didn't look at the last game in specifics.
Kieran told me that we were doing an all-nighter.
I did have a look at this, which is quite interesting. The attacking efficiency. I mean, look at this. Aggressive shooting, but clinical shooting. We're the best in the league in terms of conversion rate, and the number of shots we're taking per game is above average as well. So
Very nice.
superb to see. We can obviously look at the XG from the last game, where we absolutely dominated it in terms of the overall XG score. I just love looking at pass maps.
Lovely.
You know, I just sort of sit there sometimes like, oh, okay, this is. I don't even need to know what's going on. I was like looking at the way it's been designed.
And the size, sorry Tom, the size,
Size of the arrows.
Size of the arrows and the size of the dots of the players indicates touches as well. Just lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff all around.
It is beautiful, but that particular image, I don't know, people aren't back from the pub yet, so they might not be able to see it, but it's a little bit like the kind of thing that you do draw when you're at school.
Can we, Tom, as also look at player reports, top right?
Player reports top right, yeah.
Please.
Yeah, can we edit that bit out when we put it out? Please.
Yeah, I can.
So these are
Thanks.
players that we've scouted ourselves or been given to us by a scout
So here you can see, you know, I was saying about how analysts pull together stuff into pros and cons now. It's sort of this like key metrics that you can judge them on and see, okay, this player is amongst the best in the league for key headers. You can get a really good breakdown in the feel for how they can add value to your team. Again, we mentioned the grade previously. It's brought through to these reports as well. So yeah, just a lot more information that's much more visual and easy to digest.
And you can see here that the player, whilst you've got stuff from your analyst here, which is easy for them to pull out, transfer value of between 6.75 and 6.75 million. Have you scouted the player?
This is, I think, we're at 14%.
Okay,
So
fine.
we've just started.
So that will become smaller as things come in. Can I also just point out, how good do the polygons look now?
So nice.
I mean, it's polygons are something that I've never been a massive fan of since they were first in a well-known Japanese video game, because somebody in the studio actually always used to switch to this view for stats, and I didn't really know what it meant at that point, so that they were using it to get a competitive advantage over me when we were playing two players. But now, the way that we've done them, now that the data hub is in, I just think they're beautiful and really easy to see what it means.
Exactly. So yeah, and again, there's loads that you can dip into there, and that obviously you can see that's just in the past week. So that constantly refreshes. There's constantly new information coming in. So really, really worth dipping in
Certainly.
all the time really to the data hub.
Another thing with the values as well is if you've scouted a player and then don't scout them for a while, it will tell you that the value report is out of date.
Beautiful.
Love it. Here we
Right.
go. Last game.
Final game.
Last game. Okay.
Have we got any special music for this, or could we not get the rights?
No, I don't think we can get the right.
Dec, can you
ones.
knock up a tune?
I was going to say I can sing to you.
Right, okay, so opposition instructions. Press with higher intensity. I'm doing it. Caution to the win time for the final game. Let's see what the selection advice is. Okay.
Essentially getting our first team back in, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, rotation. We're in a luxurious position that we have essentially two teams that are capable of competing in this league. But did we show this already? I know we said we were going to. So there you go. So again,
Miles' favourite
so much.
feature.
And when we first put this up, people were like, what do they mean? So we ended up putting 2 screenshots up on this, and people were still asking what they mean. So the dots that you can see here, you click on one of the squares, and it is highlighted, which didn't come out that well in the screenshot. But you can see a little blue line around it to show you which square it is, and that will tell you what the dots mean. Once you understand what they mean with the medium, the strong and the low positive influence, it becomes a lot easier to dissect it, to dissect all of that information. You can really see some weaknesses.
Yeah, exactly. So you can easily see, you know, here, we haven't really got anyone in this space here, but I think with the quality of our centre-backs, and you can see, you know, in this area of the pitch, we're sacrificing a little bit here, but we're really making up from this area of the pitch. So it just brings it together in a lot more, again, like easily digestible, easily understandable way. So yeah, big fan of that. Big fan of that indeed. Right.
And yes, you can toggle it as well, which is another question I get asked a lot.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay. Shall we? One last time?
Let's
do it. Okay. So we've guaranteed ourselves second spot
Oh, okay.
because we're 4 points clear.
Oh,
So
well,
we're fine, but we could go top. We could go top here.
And once again, there's no staff reaction to team news.
No, I think that's one thing. This is why the beta isn't out yet.
Well, it's not a beta, it's an alpha.
Yeah, exactly.
And someone's already tweeted me going, oh yeah, you had a great excuse that someone couldn't write alpha. Someone could have written alpha, but it's the wrong watermark is what's being used. So that's what's gone wrong here. But anyway.
Okay, I'm going to threaten them.
nice.
It worked. It worked.
Yeah,
it
I
worked.
don't know, they seem to really like you. My players all hate you.
The Tom Davidson effect.
I bet they like me, but the ones who aren't playing absolutely hate me. Come knocking at my door every 5
The
minutes.
squad's massive.
I know. We really should have sorted out some loans, but it's outside the window.
Easier said than done as well in this season. In
Mm.
the first season, it's pretty hard to get rid of players.
Okay, here we go. Don't like the fact we're not. Let's see some pressing.
Only 3 minutes in.
So here you can see that players picking up their men, pressing.
What a ball!
He's taking it. What?
Save the feet.
So in FM21, if a ball like that had been played, that would have been a guaranteed goal.
Mm.
But the defensive pressing there just worked really, really well
Yeah.
to stop that effort going in.
Okay.
Really nice save there.
Tell you what, I'm not having this key highlights.
Good.
Going.
Full match!
You really are doing
Strap
that.
in,
490.
guys. We're going for a full 90. Okay. Gibbs White.
Can I actually ask in the chat, even though I can't see the answers, has anyone ever played a full match in the chat?
It's a good question.
It's a great question. That'll.
There is a chap out there who blogs his FM journey
Yeah.
one day at a
I
time.
mean, I've seen
It
that.
is incredible.
Massively impressed.
I wish I knew his name off the top of my head to give him a shout out, but just one day in real time, incredible.
Corner. Here we go.
Full match all
This
the
is where
time.
it's gone.
Once or twice, once by accident. I did once in FM16. Yes, big finals.
Cool.
I guess that's got to
Right.
be done.
I've done that for a European
Suit
final.
up, big final, full match.
Suit up as well. Oh man. Okay. We didn't score from the corner, so that's like plan A out the window.
Can we toggle the camera? Do you mind, Tom?
What do we want to go for? Back to director or?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. That's slightly higher view. Here we go.
I only watch full matches. There you go.
Wow. Thank you to person who only watches full matches. You've just saved it from being removed from there. Not really. We wouldn't remove it.
Full match is good for pre-season. Get a sense of tactics.
Okay, that's hardcore.
That is
That
hardcore.
is very hardcore. That is very hardcore. I don't even play my friendlies. So there you go.
I watch more Watford friendlies in real life than I do in game.
Yeah. It's a great ball down the wing.
My brother did a full match once. Shared computer. I was told I could play after his next game. Fuming.
Oh, evil.
That is evil.
Oh, how's that not
it's a
gone in?
Great block.
What a block.
I do hope that Lifeboy are going to donate something to charity for the fact that ad holdings have been.
Right.
So if anyone from Lifeboy is watching this, since their adverts have been all over the stream, please do make a donation to War Child, who is our, and we have lots of charities that we work with, but War Child are ones that could do
Especially
some money
this
at the
one's
moment.
live. I don't think our cameras are in the right. No, they're not.
No.
That must be really annoying to watch at home.
As if by magic a War Child logo comes up as well.
Billy Sharp.
Again, man's on fire. That's his 8th of the
Same
season.
when Miles is here.
I know.
But that's fine.
Me and Billy are like that. So.
Okay.
What a nice way to end it, eh? A comfy one.
Don't get ahead of yourself now. Come on. What have you learned from last year?
Can you flash up the league table, please?
I certainly can.
So another question for people in the chat. Based on what you've seen today, what would you give it out of 10 compared to FM21? You asked me.
Strong question.
So I know you haven't been able to play it, but from the footage that you've seen, in fact, let's not say out of 10 unless people have started doing that
They've
already.
already started.
Okay, fine.
8, 7s, 10s, 8 or 9, 7, 9, 8.5, 8, 10, release the beta, brackets jokes. 5 until I know how the mechanics work, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so people want to get the game
Of course.
themselves, which
Of
is
course.
fair enough.
I get it's just not the same watching it as it is
Absolutely.
playing it. Absolutely.
Especially with Tom in charge.
Exactly. And we're only doing, this is what, a couple of hours. The thing about this year, from what I've experienced from playing it, is that you really need to get well into a season to see how everything sort of comes together. We haven't even shown off deadline day or the transfer window as a whole. There's so much going on that all, particularly all stemming from the data hub in terms of not just player and team analytics, but also your recruitment side as well, that comes together, and it's
it's a great goal.
It's 2-0.
It's brilliant to see that tablet as well.
I did a full-on deadline day a couple of weeks ago. Did the full experience, taking it really slowly, looking at every bit of advice and every bit of feedback I was getting from everyone, and 3 hours later I'd done the day. So,
and had you had your business done before that?
I thought I
You
had my
thought
business
exactly
done
that.
before.
Exactly that, and that's.
But I got a bid for a player on the morning of deadline day that kind of changed all of that.
Okay. That wasn't sort of mooted beforehand, I assume.
It had been rumoured beforehand, and I'd had not great bids beforehand. And then all of a sudden on deadline day, someone put in one of those bids that could be too good to refuse. So I then spent a lot of time looking for replacements and bought 2 replacements.
Very nice.
One of whom's done incredibly well.
You also get those moves. I had one where you get those big moves that just come out of nowhere, and then the whole market just shifts straight away.
Yep.
And then I was in a position where I wasn't really, I was just sort of monitoring, seeing what's going on, and then suddenly, like you had, bids coming in for my players, and you're just like, I can't turn that down. And then last 2 or 3 hours, you're frantically trying to get deals done, and
it's also seeing who you can bring in on loan on transfer deadline day, because other clubs haven't come in for him, and their other club, the club that he's at, aren't going to be registering them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get some real bargains
Clock is ticking.
on deadline day.
Absolutely.
From timing that right.
Which you see in real life all the time as well.
Well,
Absolutely.
we've just lived the craziest,
The craziest window, yeah. I love the way as well, agents, you get a lot more. As soon as they hear either a rumour or a done deal or a negotiated deal that's in the works, they're on you straight away saying, okay, here's who I've got who can come in and help you out. It's and you can get some really good players from them as well if you've got that relationship.
Well, sometimes they're good. Sometimes
they're horrific.
Absolutely bobbins, which does sum up transfer deadline.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I've got this League 2 player who really wants to come and play in the Premier League, and I know he's been on the bench for most of the season, but thinks he can do a job at this level. He only wants 20 grand. Right. Pretty well.
Well, I've got to make some stuff.
Good.
This is what I do all the time. The amount of times, this is my biggest FM pet peeve of mine is that I always forget to make subs.
It's alright, mate. We'll forgive you.
Okay. So what do we want to do? I mean, I think I kind of want to get McGoldrick on.
Okay.
Well, and Gibbs White's looking complacent.
Exactly.
Bye.
John Flex at 6.5, although got legs compared to the rest.
Let's get Berg on.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
good. A lot of people commenting on what is a bug that we know about going into this, that we could probably highlight. When players are scoring, flashing up, or subs, surnames are showing, it's a known bug. that the full name should be showing.
Yeah.
Of course, like in previous FMs, we'll see it in a moment when our lovely subs come on. It's just one of those things that will be fixed by the time you guys get your hands on it.
Is that one being fixed for the beta, or is that being fixed for full?
I don't know. There is an action.
I don't know either,
We were
because
told about it
there's
beforehand.
always something. I always want us to leave something in every year that's quite visible in the beta that we then change for release, so that people can instantly see that we have changed something. I don't know if that's cruel or not, but that's not one that I put down. Oddly, there is one. Oh, what a goal! Oddly, there is one that I put down for that someone ignored my instruction and just fixed it anyway. So
The team's working too well.
I'm very happy people do this.
That was a lovely goal, wasn't it?
It was. Was that his first touch? He's only just come on.
I think so.
Might well be. What a first touch. Oof.
But
Keeper's just.
again, that's a cutback.
Yeah.
That's something that you wouldn't have seen. You saw it a bit last year, but you wouldn't have seen a couple of years ago.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about that improved decision making we're talking about. This is going to be another.
Have you just gone
resounding win.
unbeaten?
Yes.
Have we actually?
Yes, we drew one game. I think
The
we conceded
Invincibles.
2 goals.
The Invincibles.
It's incredible.
Give us a gold trophy, come on.
Well, apart from the games we lost before we turned the stream on.
yeah.
We're not going to talk about
Don't talk about those.
Okay.
We don't
I
talk
see.
about those.
Cool.
That, If
Okay.
it didn't happen on stream, it didn't exist.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Okay. There might be a fourth here,
There might
or a miraculous
The
comeback.
fourth, yeah. Another really nice change actually, which wasn't in this game, the previous that I was going to mention. There was a red card to our opponents,
Mm.
and there was a little red icon that showed in the scoreboard. Not seen that before myself.
Heartily recommend that people start a game in the Bundesliga at some point as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Definitely.
what a block! Oh, you just wouldn't see something like that previously, with a ball like bouncing off the defender and then the keeper's still not sure. Yeah, okay. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop this back just in case. I want to keep a clean
In
sheet.
case they score 4 goals in 2 minutes.
I want to keep a clean
I'd
sheet.
be,
Yeah,
I'd be
fair
ultra
enough.
defensive at this point, some person. You know.
Yeah.
Invite the pressure.
Not to make you nervous, Tom, but
It's fine. It's
Hang on.
20 seconds. How hard can it be to
Hang on.
close out 20 seconds?
no, we'll be fine. A lovely end to proceedings.
Get rid of it.
Get
That'll
it
do.
clear, referee.
Look at the watch.
Ref.
Oh, he's still got 5
Ref.
seconds to be fair to him. Okay, there he is. Bang on. 3 minutes.
Well done, chaps. Solid day's work.
Great work. Doesn't matter now. I can say what I like to them. But that was
That was nice.
a great way to cap a fantastic stream. What do you say?
It was. Thanks for hosting, Tom. Thanks
Amazing.
for joining us, Miles.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun. Thanks for all the questions as well. For everybody out there in Twitch land. And yeah, obviously I'm just really excited at the moment that people are going to be getting hold of the game soon. I know that some people will be watching because they think I'm going to say what the beta date is, but I've been really, really clear. We don't have a beta date
We don't
at
even
the
know.
moment. So
I'd love to know.
the beta will be ready when we are happy with it, circa 2 weeks before release. I will be spending a lot of time playing it this weekend to see which of the final things and checking with what the QA team as well are marking down for what we want to get fixed before the beta. But as you can see, for an alpha, game's in a pretty good state at the moment. Pretty happy with it. So yeah, just hope you all enjoy it when you get hold of it, because it's been a lot of work for a lot of people, including the other 2 people on the stream and the one hiding in the corner.
Oh dear. Yeah, we really hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. Hopefully it's made you even more excited to get your hands on FM22. But what a way to end it. We achieved our goal, which is a rare thing when you and I are in...
Making it look easy as well,
Making it look
which has
easy.
never happened before
No, I
in
know.
the history of these streams.
I
I'm
know.
just disappointed I didn't get to come and sort your tactics out.
Yeah, sorry about that, Miles. But thanks for joining us. Thank you, Miles. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everyone. Still in the chat. Can't wait till everyone gets their hands on the game and can sort of have their
Experience
own
the joy.
experience.
Yeah.
Experience the joy of going unbeaten, perhaps, like we just have. But whatever your challenge is for 22, good luck, and we'll get to talk about it on all the usual places very soon. So thank you very much, and good night.